differences. And now we would like to, Dr. Adefuye, to talk about some other aspects of it, to talk specifically, since this is the 51st anniversary of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to talk about, and as a scholar in a real sense in reference to colonialism and et cetera, talk about some of the events and some of the situations over the next 8 minutes that eventually led you to independence.
Well, Nigeria was a British colony. We were colonized by the British through a series of wars and military action. Nigeria became the two sides of Nigeria, the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate, was amalgamated in 1914 to become the Protectorate of Nigeria. And then we had colonial rule, and you had the British conquered the country steadily, incrementally, and brought the whole country together under colonial rule. Colonial rule, as you all know, was a kind of carefully designed exploitation of the resources of the colonies to the advantage of metropolitan power. So colonial rule was such that it was for economic reasons. Tap our resources used to develop their country. And that's what happened with us. And we took part in the First World War, the Second World War on the part of the British. And after the Second World War in 1945, the doctrine of self-determination came up. And the people started agitating for independence. And the agitation for independence was led by Nigerians who had been abroad to study and who had been conversant with some of those principles. The Human Rights Declaration, the Human Rights Charter, and they began to question British rule over them, because based on the logic and principles they have learned while studying abroad. So you find the returnees, and most of them, most famous of them was Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was actually educated here, began to question British rule over Nigeria. And the agitation led on to series from many African countries asking for self-determination. More so as the UN, when it was conceived in 1940, when it came up in 1947, began to advocate for self-determination. So Nigerians also asked for self-determination. And so many African countries began to achieve independence. In 1957, Ghana was the first one. And then in 1960, Nigeria ultimately attained independence from colonial rule. And the green, white, green flag of Nigeria was hoisted to replace the Union Jack. And then we became independent as a nation in 1960. So we became independent in 1960, and we operated a British system of government, Westminster model, parliamentary democracy. And we went through quite a lot in the country. We went through the first set of our first set of post-independence rulers merely stepped into the shoes of the British. And even though they meant well, but the defects of the British system was still very much around. And so we had a lot of, the federal structure was not properly arranged. And so we had a foreign policy that, for instance, that spoke of non-alignment, but was really pro-Western. And then, of course, our first set of politicians saw themselves as succeeding imperialists. And so administration was done in the best interest of the people. That led to agitation among the various political parties, leading to the first overthrow of the civilian government, and then a civil war, which we fought 1967 to 70. And then, by the end of the civil war, it was clear to everyone that Nigerians will have to live together as the same people. And so the civil war ended with General Yakubu Gowon, who became head of state, saying that no victor, no vanquish, that nobody will ever question the territorial integrity of Nigeria. And we were prepared to live together as one indivisible set of people. So since then, and a lot of things happened after this. But during the Civil War, one good thing was that oil was discovered in commercial quantity, and Nigeria became an oil-producing country. Right now, we're the fourth largest supplier of crude oil to the United States. So we became, and then there was agitation for a change of the constitution. Quite a number of people believe that the Westminster model was not quite suitable. And that was why we had a military coup, we had constitutional problems and all that. And then we decided to adopt the American type Republican Constitution. And so that's what we are currently practicing right now. And so we have a Republican type Constitution with a presidential system, governors in states, president in the center, And that's what we've been. I mean, that's not been without. I mean, that's what some political scientists, some of us say that it's not the system of government that matters. It's the way it is administered. In spite of the change from the Westminster model to the Republican system, from British system to the American system, we still have military coup d'etats. We have had so many military coup d'etats, many military takeover of government. Like we had, there was one in 75, there was one in 79, there was one in 83. But right now, people are tired of military rule. Since the collapse of the Berlin Wall and the end of communism and the wave of democracy all over the world, people are now beginning to question the rationale for military rule. So we've got to a system whereby democracy as a system of government has become established in the country. And we may have our problems, but we will not allow any set of soldiers to come and take over and take over anymore. And so democracy has come to stay. We are trying to perfect the American system to adopt it to our own peculiar situation and make good of it. And so we now have a Republican-type constitution in Nigeria, and with bicameral legislature, the Senate, at the federal level, the Senate and the House of Representatives, Congress just as here, and we have a presidential system of government, a president and a vice president, and the governors in